En los mercados, y a esta hora vamos a acercarnos a tomar el pulso al mercado, a la macroeconomía, con la ayuda de Martin Morynson, economista jefe de Europa en DWS. Martin, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us in Negocios Televisión. First of all, I want to ask you about what is your point of view about this moment in market?
Well, markets are currently in a very sensitive situation, I'd like to say, because on the one hand side, especially equity markets sort of prepare for a perfect soft landing in the US, in Europe, so they pretend everything is more or less fine, whereas fixed income markets seem to be a bit more concerned about what's going to happen in the near future.
In the last hours, we have heard Powell maintains the idea that there may be more rate hikes. What do you hope about the next movement in December?
Well, we are not actually expecting a hike, but I think his comments were very hawkish, and the main reason for that was that perhaps even fixed income markets had become too complacent. They were all sort of in the mode that the next step would be down, which probably is true, but they were expecting it too early and the markets were getting ahead of themselves. And therefore, he had to put in some hawkish comments in order to get markets back again where they want to have them. You know, at the very end, you cannot declare victory on inflation if the inflation rate is still above 3%. That's far outside of their comfort zone. So they have to keep rates at an elevated level for a prolonged period of time. And this only works if not only central bank rates are high, but also market rates. And for that, for us, it was not that big of a surprise that he made hawkish comments. So perhaps we could expect hawkish comments that will prevent hawkish movements. Or will make hawkish movements unnecessary, put it that way.
In Europe, in another case, the data confirmed the weakness in the third quarter. Should we expect high rates for a long time or for some time, as some experts suggest?
Yeah, we would also say so. Again, here, same story. Inflation rates are not there where they should be. They are still too high, even though we are now currently in Europe below 3%, but still that's too high. On the other hand, you have to see that monetary policy is working. I mean, inflation is coming down, and so is the economy. This is sort of almost intended, because the only way to bring inflation down is to calm the economy so that supply and demand match again. And that is working. The European economy is moving very slowly, much slower than the US. And with that, you could say, yeah, they've almost done their job. But again, inflation rates still too high, too early to declare victory. So with that, I would say they have to keep the interest rates at this elevated level for some time, let's say until summer next year. But at the same time, there is a risk that they have to move earlier because if the situation becomes too difficult.
Philip Leng has told that the European Central Bank, the ECB, must avoid shrinking its balance sheet too much. Has said, warning this could impair lending and threaten financial stability. What do you think?
Yeah, I think financial stability is a precondition for monetary policy to work. So in that sense, he is right, and it's probably the case that the balance sheet of the ECB will stay elevated or will be larger than pre-crisis until everything has settled, and that will take more years to come.
In regarding all of this question, which do you prefer, Europe or the United States to invest?
From an equity point of view, we are currently, we think that, if you look at US equity, you have to see that the S&P 500 is mainly driven by some 6, 7, 8 large stocks, and the rest of the index has barely moved this year. So equity markets in the US are perhaps not as healthy as people might expect from the first look at it. And also, these 6, 7, 8 stocks have very ambitious valuations. So therefore, we are a bit cautious on the US market. In the long run, it's probably the most interesting market in the world, but in the short run, we would be a bit cautious. Whereas in Europe, we are currently C value just because it seems that the European equity market is severely undervalued. And so with that, especially the small and mid-cap sector, banking sector, and so on. So here we see some chances in the near future. So, but all in all, we always prefer to stay in both markets to be diversified, which always is the best. But perhaps a slight overweight in European small, mid-cap banking sector and so on, that would be something that we feel comfortable with at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So, Martin Morynson, economista jefe de Europa en DWS, thank you for this time. Good day and good job.
Yeah, muchas gracias a usted también.
Igual, gracias, Martín. Y nosotros